Hello, happy Monday. It is, what are we saying? Fun day Monday? Monday fun day? Welcome back to the Colossus Kitchen. And today we're going to be making my cranberry lemon scones. Before we get started, I've had quite a few parents and even grandparents say, you guys see my kids come in here every once in a while. They just ask how are they doing, what kind of books, what kind of activities are they doing, and I'm not the type of person that likes to give a lot of plugs. However, I went to HoorayHeroes.com. I know some of my moms out there is probably familiar with this. If not, I'm sure you're getting tons of ads through Instagram or Facebook with it, but I made this probably a year ago, and Stella now, she's able to read, so this has really been fun for her to read to herself and to us and to Scarlett. But I just went, and they have different platforms, different ideas on the type of books, and you just plug in their name, you kind of just give a little bit of direction here and there of the type of book that you want. And so I did this. I could have just done a single one. And go get some pants on.
I just put my
Plate. Thank you. Okay, thank you. They're just having lunch right now, so welcome if you're having lunch with us. So I was talking about this book. It's just a fun book. It helps personalize, and I know it's always fun for my oldest to read books that has her name in it. So, and it's a very long book. Whenever I first got this, I think I got it, it was a year ago around Father's Day. I got for the idea that Randy would be able to read this to them, but it is super long, but it's fun. It's got just different adventures for Stella and Scarlett, and if you have kids or grandkids, I think it's really cool to do. So that's that. That's my little plug. Hi Debbie. Hi Tom. Okay, so today we are going to be doing the cranberry lemon scones. My mom gave me the suggestion that I should give a little history lesson on scones. I didn't really have a ton of time to dive in and figure out, okay, where did scones come from? But as I'm sure you can assume, scones came from the UK or maybe Scotland. Scotland has a little biscuit-like pastry that they make out of oats. Mine's not out of oats, but whenever I think of scones, I think of England or drinking my scone with tea or coffee. So that's what we're going to be making. I make mine with almond flour, and it's super easy, and we're going to get started. So, on the glaze that I use for my scone is a coconut butter base. I don't have coconut butter, so instead I have shredded coconut, and I put it in my food processor. It's not quite ready, so once I get this all together, I might process that a little bit more and then show you how you can make your own coconut butter with coconut. Alright, so we're going to get started here. I don't have my cookbook with me in front of me, so I'm kind of guessing the measurements. Okay, so we need some honey, 4 tablespoons, right? And I sweeten mine with honey. You can also use pure maple syrup. Oh, there you go. There you go. Good job. What else was I going to talk about?
This is my second time doing it.
That's right. Stella and I made this last night. Practice round. because it's actually been a while since I've made it. Perfect. I mean, if you are tired of having eggs all the time or a protein smoothie all the time, this is just a different breakfast option or brunch. I like making this for Father's Day brunch, Mother's Day brunch. I know a lot of us aren't going out to eat. I personally don't like to cook on Mother's Day, but can you cut this in half? Watch your thumb. So these are child approved knives, but I like using them because it helps gets her used to helping me and actually figuring out how to cut things. So
Where's
the squeezer? What was I saying? Oh, scones. Great brunch. If you're going somewhere for a brunch, gotta flip it down. This is a nice addition to bring. It's super easy to make. Takes about 25 minutes in the oven. She just had her workout, so she might be tired from that. Okay, let's do the other one. If you don't have a citrus squeezer, I would highly recommend getting one. It's easy and a lot less messy. And you don't have to use those ones where you're cranking. I remember during 4-H week, I helped my mom at a lemonade stand, and we used one of those that you had to crank. This is so much better.
I have a lemonade stand.
Do you have a lemonade stand? Stella loves. Oh, you know what I forgot? I forgot to zest my lemon before I squeezed it. I also have this nice little zester. So, backtrack here. But the recipe I don't think calls for a whole lemon. It's I think a couple of tablespoons, but I like a lemony flavor, so I'll zest the whole lemon and I'll squeeze the whole lemon. Can't believe I forgot to zest it. Now the key is to not get the seeds in my batter.
Which I don't think that happened.
No, I don't think so either. I'm throwing around the idea. Again, my mom was full of great ideas today when she called me. I'm throwing around maybe either next week or in 2 weeks, we'll make some ice cream because it's getting hot out and my kids asked for ice cream, or it's going to start happening every day for every meal. So I usually make my ice cream out of, usually I use coconut milk, but I'm going to start experimenting, trying more almond milk.
What?
I had to hang now, and the citrus got in there. Okay, let's get the rest of this out. So scones aren't really supposed to be super sweet, so that's why we don't, I just use 4 tablespoons of honey. I mean, by all means you can add more sweetener, but it's not supposed to be. Okay, and now we're going to add, if it was up to my kids, we would be adding chocolate chips, but we're going to do cranberries because that's what the recipe calls for. Okay, you want to pour some cranberries in there?
All of
No.
them? Why is this so hard to open?
Use those muscles. Got it. Yep, okay. Okay, so that's all the ingredients. I mean, I loosely call this a scone. It's not real flaky. I'll show you. Kelly says hi. You want to say hi?
Hi, Callie.
is what the batter looks like. It's not real runny, but it's not super thick. But the idea of scones, which I am going to do this one different than what I did last night. Last night I did the traditional like triangle. My triangles aren't like your typical scone triangles. They look like pies. But I'm going to try these differently, which I'll post a picture later today. But I'm going to try more in the biscuit style and see how they turn out. I never thought about doing that, but I saw a picture as I was trying to research the history of scones and saw the different ways that they make scones. So the finished product is this. I might have browned it a little bit too much, but it's okay. And then I'm gonna kind of show you how I make my own coconut butter. But, I mean, it's not, like I said, it's not like really super flaky, but it does hold together really nice. I'm gonna try it. Let them know if it's good or not.
Who knows?
People who are watching. Tell them it's delicious.
It's delicious.
It's not coached at all. Okay, so we are going to make the coconut butter. And I'll kind of show you how that is done. And I will be honest, it probably will not be fully, I may have to turn this a little bit. I just took 2 cups of shredded coconut, unsweetened, and I put it in my food processor. And I can't really move my camera at the moment, but I processed it for 10 minutes. It's still not in the butter consistency. So we're gonna do it for maybe a couple more minutes and then we'll pretend that's in the butter system. Nut butters and coconut butters, they're all a little bit, they take longer to break down and to make it creamy. So I just probably need 5-6 more minutes in the food processor, but I'm not going to do that because it's loud. But I'll show you what it kind of looks like. But you have to stop every once in a while, scrape it down, just like you would with almonds or cashews. I make almond butter in my food processor and it heats up, so the heat is what helps break it down to make it smoother. Okay. So I'm using this for the glaze to put on top. I mean, you can use any kind of glaze, but again, you don't want it to be super sweet because that's not what scones are supposed to. I know we live in North America where everything is really, really sweet. But let's try and limit it because let's not get out whenever we get out of our houses. Let's not get out and have already put on 15-20 pounds. Okay, so yeah, it's not really, it's still pretty flaky. Flaky.
Should we keep them home?
But that's okay because it doesn't really have to be creamy either for this recipe. So that's where I'll just, and you are adding some milk and some honey to it. So it's not really that big of a deal for it to not be flaky. The weather has been beautiful here. I hope people are getting out and going for a walk around the neighborhood. You've already went for your walk, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Again, you can use maple syrup instead of honey. And the recipe calls for coconut milk, but I don't have coconut milk, so I just made almond milk, so that's what we're going to use is almond milk. So you don't want to add this until it's completely cooled, which ours is. And if it's too runny, which mine is, but again, if you continue to process the coconut in your food processor, it's going to make it more buttery. And I will say the difference between the coconut, using coconut milk versus almond milk. Coconut milk is going to solidify if you put it in the fridge. Almond milk won't. So it's not going to have it's not going to keep, because I used almond milk, it's going to be a lot runnier. But you do what you can with what you have. Okay, so we are just going to spread it on here. And if you want, you can always heat it up too. It'll soak in a little bit more.
Are we going to?
Heat it up? No, I don't think so. Okay, let me spread it around. I'll keep working on the coconut butter. And sometimes it does depend on, thank you, the type of coconut too. I had the fine shredded one, which does make a difference. The chunkier it is, I think it will process a lot quicker. Okay, and that's that. Should we try a little bit of it?
Mm-hmm.
I haven't had this in a long time, so. I always forget. This is a really good recipe. The lemonade flavor is amazing. It goes really great with coffee and tea. Like it. It does taste really good with the glaze on top. So even if you don't have coconut butter, but you have shredded coconut, I still recommend just going for it and doing that because it does give it just a little bit of extra sweetness. But it's really good and really easy. This took about 25 minutes, if that, to bake in the oven. 10-15 minutes for it to cool, but I cooled it overnight. And now the girls will probably enjoy it in their lunches today or throughout the week. Lately I've been getting back into routine, if you have kids, getting back into routine of getting their little bento boxes out. Every night I'll make their lunch, put it in the fridge. I usually put goat cheese in an organic
Lunch meat.
Yeah, with turkey or egg salad. They have to have a vegetable in there, usually green beans or cauliflower or broccoli. Green beans is still his favorite, so it's 5 out of the 7 days is green beans. And then I'll put some fruit in there. So today they had grapes, and then they make just a little treat. So I made last night banana bread cookies, which was literally what I would make for banana bread muffins, but I just made them into cookies instead, and they turned out amazing. So I'll put that in there, and then that's her lunch. And I've been doing that now every day. Randy has decided he wants to count his macros a little bit, not super intense, but he wants to count his macros, so his carbs, proteins, and fats. So yesterday, for my meal prep, I made a bunch of rice and a bunch of chicken, and I put those in 7 containers for him. I meal prepped for myself, so I made a big vegetable soup, which the pot, I just stick it in the fridge. And I cut up my veggies and I cut my fruit for the week. And that way we're still into our routine with what we're eating during the week and making sure we're not making any rash food decisions if we're hungry, because everything's already ready and all of our meals are good to go. All right, so we are all set. Thanks again for joining me, and we'll see you next week. Either I'll try and post what I'm going to be making, because if you have my cookbook and you want to follow along, that'd be awesome. If you don't, that's also okay. You can go back and look at these. But I'll try and post what we're going to be making next week. Maybe ice cream. If it's really sunny out, it might be ice cream. So I'll get my ice cream. I use an ice cream maker, but you don't have to have one. So, all right. Well, have a great week. What do you say?
Thank you.
Thank you and bye.
Bye.